Ko te awa pūtai tōku maunga, ko tauri kaitai tōku awa, ko pare māhu tōku moana, ko rongo moraroa tōku marae, ko Ngāti Kere tōku hapū, ko Ngāti Kaununu tōku iwi, ko Robert tōku ingoa. I just wanted to spend a couple of minutes just to really thank Niall and Shade for allowing us to come today. I was very nervous to receive the phone call, but gladly took the opportunity, and yeah, thank you for letting us be here today.
Kia ora te whānui o Kahungunu, ko Wai Maria Hurinui tōku ingoa, no Ngāti Kahungunu, Ngāti Tūwharetoa, Ngāti Koatu. I'm just here to be Robert's pretty clicker. I'm going to pass it back to him. I'll point down the back, okay.
Aha. Well, while those technical difficulties are going on, we'll carry on. So, kia ora everyone. Just being new to the space and not really have stood up before and had talk about myself, I thought we'd better introduce myself and who we are. So yeah, my name is Robert Houkamau. I'm a father of 5. Waimaria is my fiance. So yeah, this is our team. So I left school quite early. Being inside of 4 walls and learning like that was never the way for me to learn. So I left school quite early, at around about 14. I was straight into scaffolding after that. I was a self-employed contract scaffolder for about, 10 years or so, more. So being outside and being in the environment and learning in that way was a huge part of my life, and I honestly wouldn't take it back for anything. Another huge part of my life was growing up on and around the marae. So my father, Hauriri Houkamau, was the chairman of our marae, Rongo Maraeroa, when I was young. So we spent a lot of time just kind of being the chairman's son and being pointed in that direction. My whānau at the marae, they're not hunters and gatherers, they're more the people that look after the kai once it gets to the marae. So they'll be the people who are cooking the kai and doing that sort of stuff at the marae, which created a disconnection from the taiao for me. I never grew up in that space. Well, we always grew up with these massive stories about Te Whātui Apiti and the kai haukai and all of these things, and watched our uncles and koros and all of those things still reliving those stories today. So there was a connection, it's just I didn't share it. So in 2020, 2021, when everyone was experiencing the lockdowns and going through COVID, I absolutely didn't lock down at all. I just went to the beach. So that was me through pretty much the whole lockdown. So when the lockdown had finished, all I wanted to do was work within that space as a diver. There was close to 0 opportunities to work as a diver here, and I didn't have any fantasies on working anywhere else. I wanted to be home with my kids. So that's what we did. My new goal was to gain certifications to be able to work in these spaces, so that connected us with Dive Zone Tauranga. That was a massive opportunity. My biggest criticism through that program was that they didn't teach us how to strengthen our abilities at the marae. There was the Māori aspect of it was gone. What I mean by that is, as safety divers, the last thing you want to do is put a catch bag on and start filling it up. But the first thing, as somebody who's providing to the marae, that's the first thing I want to do. So there was a big disconnection through that. So learning that and then going through those, I suppose, that journey, I wanted to bring that home. And again, that was the only dream I had, was just to be able to bring that knowledge home. Which created the dive school. Hang on. So in 2021 to 2022, we created the dive school. We had a few aims for that year. Our biggest aims were to engage with the whānau, so that was through public surveys. So we went out to, I think it was from here all the way back to Porongahau, and we had multiple engagements with the whānau just to kind of see what they wanted to learn. Rather than us coming to you and saying, hey, we think that you should learn this, we wanted the power to come from the whānau. We wanted to ask what they wanted. We started attending hui and seeking guidance from people that were already in these spaces, and that wasn't very easy. The word collaboration quickly came up, and collaboration didn't really work well for us. It was quickly, what could we do for you, not what could we do together. So it was kind of seeking guidance around entering those spaces, and then what could we, again, offer to the whānau. which then went into creating a business plan. And business plans are difficult. The results of that year was we linked in with our EIT to start some of the ACE funded programs, and that's just to kind of put our foot down in the ground and say, here we are, we're keen, we're ready to go. We started off absolutely saying we're not going to do any more than 3. We ended up doing 8. So there was a huge engagement with those numbers. The navigation of legislation, that's been probably one of our most difficult things when it comes to building this dive school. It just changes all the time, and they don't like to make it easy. Inflation and costs. During this time, inflation was going through the roof. And the costs that we were incurring as a business, we didn't feel comfortable in passing those on to our whānau, who were potentially our students. So we quickly had to find a way to receive money. At the time, we had no idea what funding was, what a funding application was, or anything. So we quickly learnt that it was the right idea, it was just the wrong time. So heading into finishing up with 2022 and heading into 2023, we formed and established the Tangata o Te Wai Charitable Trust. One of the purposes in the trust is we are a trust dedicated to promoting diving in Hawke's Bay and beyond. Our mission is to encourage more people to explore the underwater world and discover the wonders of our taiao. That purpose is purposefully broad because it allows us to work and do pretty much whatever we want underneath this umbrella. So our area of operation is the coastal lines of Aotearoa and all the waterways adjacent to that, which includes the Chatham Islands and Stewart Island. Through the establishment of the trust, we quickly found out that we had to start creating relationships and finding the connections to people that were already in these spaces, but it was more around funding and what that looked like. So go back one, please. That led us to meeting Rob Hewitt. So Rob Hewitt is a whānau from Porongahau, and he works with Water Safety New Zealand. When we met Rob, he can spitfire these statistics like nothing. It's actually quite amazing when you listen to him. But he's very passionate around preventable drownings, especially with Māori. So that's kind of, it was the waka that he pretty much chucked us on and said, go. I think I rung him up on a Tuesday and said, kia ora, this is my name, how can we work together? Is there any way that I can help you? And he said, yeah bro, get me a funding application done by Friday. It was the first time I had ever done it, so it was, big massive thank you to Rob for just allowing us to come into these spaces and helping us navigate where we want it to go. Through building those connections, we also met Dave Drain down in Wellington. Dave has been a massive help since pretty much day one. I met him, I just walked into his dive shop and said, hey, I want to build a dive shop in Kahununu, can you help me? He goes, yeah bro, here's all the paperwork, go. So it was unreal actually, just the massive to make those connections, and it's just made everything a lot easier. Also, in 2023, leaving 2023, heading into 2024, it was about maintaining and building those connections again. So we had Water Safety National Providers Hui down in Wellington, hosted by Dive Wellington. And that was really just to get all of the providers from Water Safety New Zealand together and kind of talk about our successes and where our goals are and how does that align. That was a huge opportunity for us to again be amongst people who are already in these spaces and just learn. We get quite isolated where we are sometimes, and it's quite hard to reach out to people. Just to have a group of people who are like-minded, it was just massive to be able to sit amongst them. This is meant to be a playing video, but it's not. In 2023, we also met Katarina Kupinga and Shai Raihania from Te Herenga Tangata and Te Hiwa Amahaki. They come to us at a very, I suppose, important time in our journey. We had spent a lot of time kind of championing our kaupapa that we didn't have much time to kind of sit back and talk about our successes. So through that relationship with Te Herenga Tangata and Katarina, they allowed us to be in this mini documentary series that kind of highlighted a lot of grassroots communities within Kaununu and really touched base on our difficulties around accessing and finding funding, especially for small grassroots communities. So yeah, that was another massive opportunity for us to learn. Pretty much at the end of last year, we ran our first noho marae, which was our Kaununu dive wānanga out in Porangahau at Rongomarairoa. That was pretty much, we wouldn't be able to do it without Chelsea Cunningham from Toi Tangata. So it was a huge, massive opportunity for us to learn about the influence of social media and what growing platforms look like. Our platform was quite small, we only just started off. But to be able to link in with Toi Tangata and their national base and just kind of see how they work and how their platforms all link in together, it was a huge opportunity for us. It was the first time we had ever held a marae-based wānanga, and it was the first time that our marae had ever run a dive wānanga. So it was, again, a huge massive opportunity for me to be able to take that home, and huge opportunity for our marae too. So finishing up last year, heading into the start of this year, we started our training with training our rangatai in schools. So again, taking them out of those four walls and putting them out within the tile, and rather than just putting stuff up on the screen, now we're going to go out there and touch it. So that's what we started last year. We did a trial run with Terrace School. We now have 4 kura locked in for this year. We made connections with Sustainable Hawke's Bay, from Jay from Sustainable Hawke's Bay, and she does a lot of freshwater education in schools as well. So our connection to her was, how can we create one program that aligns all the way from the mountains to the sea, rather than having 2 separate programs. We also, through Jay, we also made a connection to Lorna Dugan in the Mountains to the Sea Conservation Trust. And Lorna is one of the national coordinators for Mountains to the Sea Conservation Trust, and they just do a whole bunch of stuff within the tile. My role, I've now become an endorsed regional coordinator for Mountains to the Sea. And the purpose behind that was they started their conservational trust around 20 years ago, and it was a real focus around getting kids and getting into schools and getting them educated into these spaces, so that once they left school, the rate of employment jumped up very, very much. So they have huge pathways into volunteer work all over the country, and then they also have employment opportunities too. So that's what, again, another resource that we wanted to bring back to Kaununu, as well as all of their in-school programs that have been recently transferred over to Reo. So yeah, we can do all of that stuff. We're also working with DOC and MPI, especially out at our local marine reserve, and that's just around the poaching that's going on. So it's how can we, again, provide a better presence down at Teangiangi Marine Reserve so that we can awhi them. More of our events. Earlier this year, we had a volunteer snorkel guide training day. It's become our revised water safety programs. So we have an introduction program that brings people into these spaces, but now through these volunteer snorkel days, we're actually giving people the ability to come out and practice these snorkel guiding skills. So that we can feel more comfortable when they go home and they start teaching their whānau. One of the biggest lessons that we've learned is about 90% of us that actually dive have only just been told, here's the gear, get in there and do it. Nobody has any sort of safety behind it, and that's karakia and everything. The safety aspect behind gathering kai is gone. So how can we bring that back? It's by doing this. After the snorkel volunteer training, we had our Explore Te Angiangi event. So the outcomes of that event is we had 101 participants not only come to the event but also get into the water, and all of them came out safely. Our only incident of the day is one of our kuia, she slipped over and hurt her knee. So I was thinking, well, if that's 100 people in the water and that's our worst thing, ka pai. We had 21 crew and volunteers come and help for the day. So again, we wouldn't have been able to do it just myself, legally. So it was a massive thank you for the whānau and everyone that had come out to not only the snorkel training days, but also came out to the Te Angiangi event. We honestly wouldn't have been able to do it without you. We received $124 in koha from this event. It was the first time we had ever asked for koha. To be quite fair, I didn't actually want to receive it. But all of the funding up until now will never hold us more accountable than that. So that, taking that money out of the whānau's pocket, I mean, that touches hearts. We had an appearance from DOC and MPI, and that was again just to help keep everyone safe, not only our students and everyone that was there, but also ourselves. A lot of times in our classes, people try to get a bit cheeky and hide a power in there. So yeah, we quickly point you at MPI. We had our local kura, Tera School, had come out to do a fundraiser too, so it was again just how could we give back to our tamariki and all of those things. Well, just keep giving back, how could we keep doing that? And our feedback of the day was pretty much the same as this, which that everyone had a good day, everyone enjoyed it. The biggest criticism we took was that we didn't have enough gear, which is funny because we had over 40 wetsuits, 40 fins, we had enough gear. So if people are saying that we don't got enough gear, ka pai. And so what's next for us? What's next is to pretty much keep bringing these opportunities to Hawke's Bay and its wider regions. So we now have a 20-foot container full of dive gear, and we also have a enclosed trailer that can fit about 50 wetsuits in it. So we're looking to engage with whānau outside of Tamatea and hopefully be able to come to your marae and awhi your fella's journey into these spaces. We're looking to continue working with local kura to get our rangatahi engaged with the tie-out. And this has become my role with Mountains to the Sea, is we are trying to connect that freshwater education to the marine education. We went to Christchurch a couple of weeks ago and it was a whole freshwater conference talking about all of these things up the river. Then when I spoke all about the powers that were down the river. So it was about reconnecting all of those things. And we also want to create more whānau engagement and a focus on whakapapa and return these opportunities back to these marae. Growing up on the marae and being in these spaces, it's always going to be my inspiration to why I'm doing this. Yes, it's about these mokopuna decisions and that, but I believe it's always about empowering the marae and reconnecting people back to that space. A lot of our whānau grew up washing dishes, so they don't really know what to do now. So it's about what strengths and stuff can we give you. You might not be an orator, but you might be a hunter. So these are the strengths we want to try and build into our whānau. And hopefully that aligns with everyone else. Just wanted to say again, a massive thank you to everyone for letting us get up and speak. Te whānau.